Hello friends, and welcome to another East German military stuff video. And this time we have a 1970 stamped Strichtarn field uniform, or Felddienstanzug. Now, usually Strichtarn uniforms maybe not that special, but I wanted to create this video about this particular one because this is actually a matching set of jacket and trousers here at the back. Usually when you buy East German Strichtarn uniforms, if you get them as a uniform, that is jacket and trousers together, usually what tends to happen in most retailers or sellers, that they will send you some sort of jacket and some sort of trousers, and they don't really try to match them or pick any particular year variant, since usually the sellers don't have time or interest for such things. But when I ordered this jacket and trousers from a shop here in Finland called Varustelleko, if you collect military stuff, you might have heard of that place. Yeah, I ordered this from there about 17-18 years ago by now, like a very long time ago, and they just happened to send me a matching set, so lucky me. And not just any matching set, but one that is stamped from 1970, and it was in completely unused condition. So thanks to whoever was working at Varustelleko warehouse that day for sending me this quite a nice example. Now, the 1970, that is that exact year, 1970, stamped clothes are maybe not the most rarest. The 1960 stamped Strichtarn items are definitely more valuable, but this 1970 is actually the first year that this exact cut of jacket and trousers were produced, so that's at least pretty cool. This cut was produced pretty much in this form until the late 70s. As you will see later on, there was like a bit of changes to the material, like the small details later in the 70s, but yeah, from 1970 to late 1970s, maybe 1979, this was the jacket and trousers that were produced. And the way you can distinguish right from the front that this is a 1970 or later one is already quite nitpicky detail. Let's see if I can get in the camera. From the front you can see that there is this sewn clump in here that is actually for the pistol pouch for the Makarov pistol, which is, zoom out again a bit, which is here on the inside of the jacket. The stamps are here in as well. So you have the pistol pouch here, and this exact pistol pouch was put, or this appeared in the 1970 jacket, and the jacket from 1969 had a nice pistol pouch that was more like square shaped, so it's like an angular here, maybe a bit of here and then here, and it's sewn onto the front of the jacket, like all the way here. So there's like a big sewn line you can see already from the front. That's one way you can distinguish that it's a 1969 jacket and not one from 1970. But yeah, since we are here, I suppose we can go through the stamps, which are still nicely legible. Let me zoom a bit for you here. So we have the name tag here, which is still white and unused. NVA, Nationale Volksarmee, at the top. Then we have 108754 and 600. This is probably just some batch number, maybe. You can see it, well, I will show it later, but there are more of this. This is stamped on several pieces of the fabric in the coat, so this is probably some kind of manufacturing number or whatever to make the pieces match. Then we have M44, which is the size. A bit confusing with this another M here, but anyway, the M is the height, so this is, I don't remember what that was short for, maybe like mittel or something, but medium height, so about 175 centimeters. Today in Finland that will maybe be considered a bit shorter size. I am 186 centimeters tall, and this jacket is definitely too short for me. And the 44 is the like width size, so this is a very small cut or very small size. Then at the bottom left we have 1802, which is the factory code, and it is Burger Bekleidungswerke in the town of Burg near Magdeburg. That's in the state of Saxony-Anhalt, so that would be kind of the western part of former East Germany, but now it's a bit to the east from the center of modern Germany. It's maybe the best way to describe it. And I think this 1802 is quite one of the most common codes you will see on these Strichtarn uniforms. And then we have the Roman numeral for 2, which is the quarter of the year, so this is the second quarter, and M in this case is the date, or the year code, so that is 1970. There's this handy dandy list available in the internet where you can see all the codes and such for East German items, which they started to use it from 1968, so I will link that below. It's a site called Flächentarn Kraus, and if you collect East German stuff you have probably stumbled on that site. It's quite a useful site for collecting this stuff. So what next? Well, if you are new to these uniforms and you're just wondering like, how can I tell like which is a later and which is an older one of coats, like you can see that this coat has no pockets, maybe they're called like hand pockets or such, like slit pockets in here in the front. It's completely void of anything such. Here we have a jacket from 1989, so it's quite late, but it's still not the UTV cut, but still the 1980s cut. So we have here the front hand pocket. And one other quick way to distinguish between 1980s and 1970s or 60s even jackets is this is the one of the left arm pouch, and here you can see the buttons are hidden underneath this flap. And here in the 1970 jacket, well, this is unbuttoned because I will show the insides of the pouch soon, but these buttons will go. Can I do this through camera? Yes. The buttons are visible from the outside. So if you see a picture where someone is wearing this jacket and there are buttons poking out on the sleeve of the arm, well, you know it's a 1970s or 60s jacket. And also these front buttons here, you can see they are brown, quite big and brown plastic buttons. Almost look like the, if I can get it in focus for you. There's some light reflecting of it, so my camera doesn't really want to pick it up, but well, maybe that's close enough. But yeah, it's quite a large button and it's brown, like almost looks like the old Bakelite stuff that they used to use, but This is not Bakelite, it's just plastic. Looking at the 1989 jacket again, maybe I'll make a separate video about this, but you can see that there is much smaller gray plastic buttons here. And yeah, this is a 1989 jacket, so also one way. It's a bit random the way I keep telling these things, but hang on. This is the size tag here in the collar of the jacket. This is quite a large tag. You can clearly see it's G44 and it's the width of several of my fingers. Here in the 1970 coat, it's a much smaller tag, and it only states the width, or the not only the 44, so no height mentioned here, or it's supposed to be somewhere. No, the height is not marked at all, and it's a very small tag. So I was talking about the late 70s coat. One here, which has a bit confusing stamps. That looks, this jacket is quite used, so it's a bit worn, the stamps and well everything, but that looks a bit like capital M, but I'm pretty sure this is actually an A, which would make this 1977 jacket. But anyway, so here in this one we have the same style of front buttons, but they are gray. And yeah, this is again 1977, and the cut overall is the same. This does not have the hand pockets here in the front, but it does have the large size tag. And so even though the cut is pretty much the same, there are some minor differences in this 1977 jacket, so different button colors. And before I forget, I believe that here in the sleeve we have this again small gray plastic button for tightening the sleeves. Sorry for swapping so much between these jackets, but trying to do this all is a bit challenging in this camera view. But yeah, you can here see this. These are the older style big gray plastic buttons which are visible from the outside. Both of them, and you have several positions for them. So, and yeah, this coat has these shoulder boards for soldat, which have been just put on by me. They are not the original, unfortunately. And it also has the collar liner attached, which is quite excessively big for this one, because this is the 44 size, so it's a bit oversized. So here we have more of the insides of the jacket, and it again has stamps here, 1574, which is, I suppose, like this particular piece of fabric. And I wonder if the last two letters are somehow related to this main stamp here. And we have another 1574, so I guess these are here to match these two pieces of fabric together for manufacturing. Here we have the right arm pouch of the, or pocket of the jacket, and you see this one loop for camouflage material, so branches or whatever. If you have a particularly early Strichtarn jacket, you might have like this, how do you call it, like a glass shaped drinking glass shaped second strip of cloth here, and then was it like this smaller strip above it, I think. If you have those two sets of strips in here, then you have an early 1960s jacket, and you've got yourself a nice little artifact there, because those 60s jackets are quite rare. Yeah, here on the inside of the right arm pocket we actually have a pouch for a pistol magazine, so the Makarov pistol. So you have the holster itself here on the right, left chest of the jacket, accessible from here. I wonder if this is a very comfortable way of carrying a pistol, like it's kind of banging against your chest all the time. But anyway, the pistol goes there, and the spare magazine goes here on the right sleeve, and that's actually mentioned in the book of basic military knowledge of that was issued to soldiers. Like there was like instructions on which particular items went into which pocket, and maybe I'll give you a video on that book later. Like it's quite interesting, or it has some interesting content to it. We also have more camouflage loops here on the shoulder area. The back of the jacket is quite barren, nothing in here. Some of the early jackets have, again, camouflage loops. Sorry, something fell a bit. Yeah, there are some camouflage loops here on the upper part of the jacket, but this doesn't have those. And of course, it's not very obvious, but if you have a very early Strichtarn jacket, you actually have buttons here on the inside fold of the collar, and you would attach the helmet cover to those buttons. But this 1970 dated jacket, the helmet covers were, you wouldn't attach them to the collar of the jacket, which I think makes sense. Like, I don't know why you, well, I guess it gives you a tiny bit more protection if you have the helmet cover attached here, but kind of makes pain in the butt. Like if you want to get your helmet off or whatever, then you have to like fiddle it off, and you can see why they got rid of that. And here we have the left arm pouch. Again, it's already opened, and actually have these two small sections here that were meant for a dosimeter, like a, I think it's like a detector for radiation. I understood that those were quite, they were more for a morale thing than anything actually useful. Here in the probably 1977 stamped jacket, those are already missing, so these dosimeter pouches, pockets or whatever, they were gotten rid of quite soon. And again, returning to the book of basic soldiery knowledge, or whatever you would translate it to, there was a specific item that we were supposed to put here in the left arm pouch. It's actually your compass. Maybe this is some civilian packaging for the compass, but this is the same model of compass, the F73, that was used by the East German army. So this would be stored right here. Alright, that's probably enough babbling about the jacket. Let's move to the trousers. Oh, almost forget about the jackets. So here on the right we have the 1970 stamp jacket, and on the left we have a 1977 probably stamped jacket. And of course the biggest differences is here on the arm. On the elbow we have this hexagonal elbow pad here on the earlier jacket, whereas in 1977 that has been already gotten rid of. I don't remember exactly when this change happened. I think these elbow pads were around for a few years still, but yeah, by 1977 they were gone and they wouldn't be brought back. So, moving on to the trousers. We can maybe first take a look at the stamps, which are actually exactly the same as you would presume from me telling about that this is a matching set. So we have again NVA 108 754 600 1802 Bekleidungswerke stamp, and it's a bit amusing, it is this M48 stamped here, and however that's error, because these, as you can see from this tag, just barely, but nonetheless you can see it is 44, and these are definitely 44 size pants. These are small, very small, so this is a stamping error here, which is amusing. And we have again second quarter of 1970. For some reason here there's a capital M, whereas the jacket had a smaller letter M, but nonetheless the stamps are matching, so I wonder if this jacket and trousers were actually produced together and sent to whatever warehouse it was in East Germany together. So because, or then it's just incredible luck that I happen to get the same year and the same quarter of year jacket and trousers, but I doubt that. This must have been somehow grouped together. And as usual with East German trousers, you have these 3 D rings, which this one has unfortunately taken just a tiny bit of rust, but these are of course for the suspenders. East German trousers rarely had belt loops, so you would use suspenders, which are actually quite nice suspenders, but just not very not used just that much today. Trouser suspenders. And in the front we have again the same. We have these brown plastic buttons, smaller size, one on the left side and 2 on the right. Here's again how you can distinguish a later pair of trousers. Unfortunately I am not sure which date these are, because these trousers are worn and the stamp is completely and utterly gone. But yeah, of course it's already this difference in the pouches. Like this 1970 stamp one is like a cotton fabric, or a mix of some kind of cotton fabric and something else, whereas this later probably 80s pair of trousers have this like a nylon mesh plastic pouch material, which frankly doesn't feel very durable but nonetheless. And then these buttons here, you have gray again, whereas the older one has brown plastic. Same with the other 2 buttons. And there are also some additional manufacturing stamps here inside the trousers, just so the factory people can put this together correctly. And then moving into the knee pad or knee area. Can I get this into one view nicely? A bit challenging. Maybe if I put it sideways. So we have this large square-shaped knee pad, and this is one way you can distinguish this as 1970 from the 1970 pattern trouser from the 1960s ones, because the 1960s ones have like this hexagonal knee pad, similar as the jacket had in the elbow. These later trousers, probably again from the 80s, have no knee pad at all. So some cost cutting going there, I presume. This jacket and trousers are quite good quality in terms of manufacturing, but there's just this tiny weird bit that these threads are poking out here, but it's nonetheless sewn on just fine. Then moving to the end of the leg, so this is how you would tighten it. So you have this button here with the ring at the back, and 3 different holes here for how much you want to tighten it. And also this one button here, which is, I guess, if you can put your button there if you want and you don't want to tighten it at all. And this one, you can see the button is sewn on, and it's again the smaller gray plastic button. And again, one easy way to distinguish 70s trousers from later ones are the exposed buttons. So you have these 2 exposed buttons here, which are quite visible in many pictures, so you can tell 1970s or 1960s uniform from that you have exposed buttons. And this is the right leg pouch, and in this you were supposed to store any sort of writing material like papers or pens or whatever. And on the left leg pouch you were actually supposed to store, if I can get this open for you, well, maybe I'll just leave it now so you can see. You were supposed to store the bandage sets. So this is a later one from 1980s, but I think it was quite the same still in the 70s. Amazingly, this is, by the way, marked for 1st of January 88, so some poor soul had to work on January the 1st. Nonetheless, that would go here. Moving to the back of the trousers, you can again distinguish this from, sorry for all the banging and clanging, you can distinguish from the earlier trousers by this not having a strengthening piece here on the butt. On the earlier trousers you had like a circle, half circle shape here that was strengthening the butt area. And like, I think this rubber band stayed on until the end of the trousers, so yeah, this rubber band's a bit worn on this one because I have washed these once or twice, so the rubber band's a bit dead now, but yeah, there's a rubber band here, and the rubber band stayed on until the end pretty much. And as a special thanks for you who stayed until the end, we have another pair of trousers which is stamped to say very similar, but we have DDR haltic, so this indicates that this fabric has a bit of DDR in it, which is like East German equivalent of nylon. NVA again, 1802. Size is a bit different font, it's SG52, so tall and quite big size. And we have Roman numeral 3, so 3rd quarter of the year, and X, which means this is 1971, so just the year after the previous pair of trousers. And these are pretty much the same in cut. We have the small size stamp, size tag here, I mean, again. But yeah, similar knee pads again. These are even bigger, so difficult to get in the view. But and similar hand pockets, or how do you call those? Similar leg pockets. And what I forgot to mention in the first pair of trousers is that you are actually supposed to have 2 buttons here. So one is here at the sort of loose position, and then the other one is here, so you can set whatever tightness you want. And so for some reason this other button is missing from the 1970 stamped pair of trousers. But yeah, so you can see, like, in 1971 the cut remained just the same. is a bit bigger size SG52, so this actually might be valued something because the bigger sizes are hard to find nowadays. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please leave a like if you enjoyed the video and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. And you can check my previous video where I actually showed some of the hats that would be worn with this Strichtarn uniform. Go check that out. Anyway, thank you for watching and I will see you in the next video.